Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I am doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This is a tag that has been going around BookTube for several years now. I know I've done it at least once before, but it is a nice way to kind of sum up your reading for the first half of the year. So I'm just going to get into the questions. The first question is, what is the best book that you've read in 2018? And so far that would have to be Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo. I read this for Dewey's 24-hour readathon, I think, and it's been a long time since I read it. I had purchased the box set, which recently came out, and it is such a good read. It is so good. I highly recommend it. I can't even really say anything bad about it. Cinematic art, really compelling, quick-paced story, really engaging characters, just super unique and fun and entertaining and engrossing, and I loved every minute of it. I can't wait to read this again. The second question is the best sequel that you read in 2018 so far, and that would go to Genshiken's second season. I really haven't read any sequels, so this is the closest thing to a sequel I've read so far this year, and probably the only sequel I will have read this year. But generally, I don't even think that this is a sequel. I think it's just a continuation of the original Genshiken series, and it basically just follows the story of a group of otaku at college and the things that they are into. This is primarily a group of girls who are interested in anime and manga, which means they are primarily interested in yaoi manga because that's a stereotype of girls in fandom. It was fun, it was entertaining, but it doesn't hold a candle to the original Genshiken series, which is one of my favorites. I don't think you should read this without reading the original Genshiken, but I don't think that you will ever think that this one is better. I definitely think that this one, it's just not as good. There's a couple of good characters in it, but for the most part, this is a bit of a disappointing read, even though it's my best sequel for the year. A new release that I want to read, a title that's already out that I haven't read yet, and that would be Claudine by Ryoko Ikeda. This is the same author of Rose of Versailles, which I have been looking forward to read, and I am waiting for a release. I have been hearing a little bit of rumors that there might be some actual progress on that release, so I am crossing my fingers big time, crossing every finger, every toe. I really, really want to read that, but I am looking forward to Claudine. I love the era of comics. I think it's going to be an interesting, kind of bittersweet, tragic story, and I cannot wait to read it. I do have it pre-ordered, so it shouldn't be too long before I get a chance to do that. The most anticipated release that I have for 2018, so a title that hasn't come out yet that I'm waiting for, one of them would be Slum Wolf by Tadao Tsuge. I have already read Trash Market by Tadao Tsuge, and I think he's fantastic. Just shows the ugly side of humanity, and just really great storytelling, and I cannot wait to read Slum Wolf, which just keeps getting pushed back, and I think it's supposed to be coming out in August now, so shouldn't be too much longer now, I hope. But it has been quite a while that I've been waiting for that. I think I've had it on pre-order for almost a year now. And then the other title that I'm waiting for, and I don't know actually anything about it, but I suspect that I'm going to love it when I get it, and I'm definitely picking it up, and I don't need to know anything about it. And that would be Okinawa by Susuma Higa. I suspect it has something to do with the war in Okinawa, probably a Gekika work, and I think it's published by Fantagraphics. Even that, I'm not entirely sure, but I have had that in my Amazon cart waiting to purchase for a while. I don't feel like I need to know anything about it. The title and the cover really said enough. Number 5 was your biggest disappointment, and that actually sadly goes to the god of manga himself, Osamu Tezuka, for Crime and Punishment. This is a very short, graphic adaptation of Dostoevsky's novel. It's a nice publication, the art in it is cute, but I just don't think that it does that novel justice. I've never read the novel, but I can't imagine that this is even a fraction of what that is. And I didn't actually particularly like the story. I didn't really understand the role of guilt in it, and I think that that was sort of a big part of this story. I just didn't think it was as effective as many other stories by Tezuka that I've read. So this one it didn't meet my expectation. I still mildly enjoyed it, but it was definitely disappointing compared to what I was hoping from it. Number 6 is Your Biggest Surprise. And that would have to go to Dolus by Maki Kusumoto. This is a title that I think my sister owns it. It's been in the collection for a while, and I've never bothered picking it up just because it doesn't look like something I want to read, frankly. It just was never really appealing to me, but after she read it, she said, "You really have to read this. It's kind of amazing." It has fantastic colored pages, and the illustration is really interesting panel layouts. It's psychological. It's really about a man who falls in love, I think, with a model, and sort of how destructive her life and his life is as they become kind of intertwined. It is amazing, and I loved this, and as soon as I was done it, I thought I need to read this again, because this was something else. I haven't heard too many people talk about Kusumoto. I believe we have recently picked up another title by this author, so I will definitely be diving into more works by them. But this one in particular was just such a surprise, because I actually didn't expect to like it at all, and I think it was my first 5-star read of the year. Number 7 is Your Favorite New Author. I don't actually know that I would say any are my favorite new author, but I certainly am intrigued by a handful of these authors that were new to me enough to want to read more. Kusumoto is one of them. Another one would happen to be Hiromu Kawakami. I read Strange Weather in Tokyo in January. This is actually a novel and not manga. Amazing, a whole novel, prose, actually made it onto a list for me. I thought it was fantastic. It's a story about a young woman who falls in love with an old professor of hers. She's in her 30s and he's in his, I think, like late 70s, and it's just a very sweet and strange and quirky romance. Like, it's not a passionate romance. They barely even talk to each other. There's just something about it. I love the pace of it. I love her sort of as an unfaithful narrator. I just really, really liked this novel. This is exactly the kind of writing that I like, just sort of sweet and calm and poetic, and I loved it. So I liked it enough that I ended up picking up another novel by this author, and I definitely had to make sure I got the one with the same cover because I thought this was fantastic. The illustrator is Natsumi Hayashi. Her photography is fantastic. I am super into it, and I probably would be into picking up a print of it. I love the composition of it. So this one is Nakano Thrift Shop. I don't know too much about it except for that I suspect I'm going to like it because I loved her writing. And something about meeting an enigmatic ladies' man, Mr. Nakano, and frequented by a host of curious customers in this thrift store. So I hope it's good. I suspect it will be, but definitely wanted to try out more works by this author since reading Strange Weather in Tokyo, so I definitely will be doing that. Number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush. I really couldn't think of any. Number 9 is Newest Favorite Character, and that would have to go to Master Keaton from Master Keaton by Naoki Urasawa, Hokusei Katsushika, and Takashi Nagasaki. He is basically a very mild-mannered Indiana Jones, let's just say. He, has a military background, he's an archaeologist, and he helps people get out of scrapes using old world technology. It's really fantastic. I loved this. I haven't finished reading the entire series yet, but we do have what is available, and I am looking forward to reading more of this because I really, really liked this character, and I love not only like the role he plays and the things that he knows, but I just like his sort of personality as well. So loving this title. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. I cry a lot reading, and I am incredibly jealous by those people who I've seen do this tag that say they never cry while reading, because that is the dream frankly. I hate crying so much, but I cry a lot when I read, or when I look at art in general. I'm just emotional that way, and it sucks. But probably the weirdest thing that made me cry was this one, which is Project X Cup Noodle by Tadashi Kato. This is a corporate history of the creation and production and marketing of Cup Noodle, and how, you know, its very origins before it rose to become this world powerful organization, a powerful product. From the notion of being able to have portable noodle bowls, to how do we make this food happen, to what kind of container do we put it in, to how do we get it into marketers or to people's hands. It was fantastic. It is totally entertaining as well as super informative, and then when they do finally have their kind of glorious resulting moment where people actually finally start to catch on, it's an emotional moment, and definitely a very happy cry, I guess. Yeah, anyway, this title made me cry, but yeah, I could really just show you 200 other books that have made me cry this year, so that's a problem. A book that made me happy, and I did not cry while reading, would happen to be Dragon Half by Ryusuke Mita. This is a super nostalgic series. It's basically kind of a fantasy type story about a half dragon, half girl. Her father is a kind of a knight. He's very powerful. Her mother is a dragon, and so she's also very powerful from both of their sides. And now she is on a mission to try and find something that will turn her into just a human and not a dragon, because she has fallen in love with a dragon slayer. It's very comedic. It's more comedy than anything. It's quite funny and silly and stupid. I enjoyed every single minute of it. Super like slapstick, I would say, the comedy. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The art in it is crisp but nostalgic, and I loved it. So I can't wait for volume 2 of this to come out. Number 12 is the best book to movie adaptation that you've watched, seen. I have only seen, I think, probably 2 things this year so far. One of them was Pink Panther. I don't know that there is a book. And the other one is MASH, which I have read the novel. The novel and the movie are very close and similar and enjoyable, but the TV show is my favorite, and it is not like the novel at all. So I guess that's probably the best adaptation, but I wouldn't even say they're similar, except for the characters have the same names and jobs. That's all I have seen this year so far. So, MASH, I guess. Number 13 is your favorite review or post that you've filmed or written. I can't think of anything on this channel that was sort of out of the ordinary, but I did write a post in sort of response to an academic journal that I was reading about what kind of a collector you are, and I got pretty good response on it, but also I think it's a pretty good article. So I will link it up below, and it really just talks about kind of more typing what types of collectors are and putting them into camps, or into just sort of giving them a personality type and giving them sort of like type A, type B type personalities. I thought it was a really interesting article, so I had to write a little bit about it, and I think other people also really enjoyed looking at it, so I definitely will link that up below if you're at all interested. Number 14 is the most beautiful book that you've purchased this year. Mine is going to go to this one, which I think is gorgeous, but I'm also super addicted to neon, so yeah, they totally, whoever designed the cover knew what I wanted, and this is exactly it. This is the back. This is the front. This is Fukushima Devilfish by Katsumata Susumu, edited by Asakawa Mitsuhiro, and translated by Ryan Holmberg. It's nice that you put the translator on the cover. Good job. And the essay is at the back, which is written in English direction, and then the comic is at the front. Also, the comic is just, it's a nice print job, as well as having blue inks, which I really appreciate. And I haven't read this yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good read. I haven't read a lot of the titles that I've been picking up this year, so definitely on the agenda, but I don't know exactly when it'll be scheduled in. But it looks really good, and it's beautiful, in my opinion. And number 15 is a book that you need to read by the end of the year. I don't need to read, apart from school books, so I have a lot of school books that I need to read, mostly kids' prose fiction, but I probably is not what you're asking. I would say the books that I need to read are the titles on my 12 manga or authors' works that I want to read over the course of the year. The only title that I have read from that list to completion is Akira. I have started reading Queen Emeraldis. Yes, that has happened. I've started reading Naruto. I have started reading through some of Jiro Taniguchi's works, but I want to read all of them. And I have started reading Here is Greenward, but I haven't finished that one either. And I still have to read Tramps Like Us, Otherworld Barbara, all the works of Natsume Ono, which I have not read any yet, all the works by Yukinobu Hoshino, Planetess, Revolutionary Girl Utena, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So there's a huge amount of reading that I need to do by the end of the year. I don't even have 6 months left, and I have 12 sort of things that will take a month each. So I'm way behind on this. I probably am not going to finish, but it's definitely going to be more of a priority over the second half of the year, even though I have other things I'm supposed to be reading as well. At any rate, there's tons to read, and you know, if I don't finish it this year, I'll finish it next year. It just needs to be in my collection so I have a chance to read it at some point. But yeah, it's been a pretty good 6 months, and I'm looking forward to another 6 months and seeing what other cool things I get to read by the end of the year. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know down below what your favorite thing that you've read so far this year is, and let's chat about it down there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.